Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm so excited to be here and speak about my most favorite topic, how to match, rank, and even clone top talent using AI. To begin with, I'll be speaking on some of the common challenges recruiters face today, how artificial intelligence helps with the matching and ranking process, practical applications of AI used by staffing firms today, and then quantifying the ROI of implementing AI for recruiting. And then I'll be taking you to the demo of AI in action. What are the reasons that recruiters don't want to turn to the database first? The answer is because they don't know who put it in. They don't know whether it was qualified well. They don't know if it was thrown into the database. They don't know that. And they feel like the time it takes to find out in the database if that's accurate, it's too long. How many of you make placements from your current existing database? We hear all the time that people have 100,000, 200,000 resumes in their database, but yet they're not making placements from it. Apart from the one I discussed, there are some additional challenges that the recruiters face. Bottlenecks in the screening process. So the average job application receives over 250 resumes. Screening 250 applications is already a difficult task. So too often, recruiters have to regroup with the hiring managers to iron out job descriptions and redefine what the ideal candidate looks like. So these inefficiencies create bottlenecks in an already lengthy process, increasing the time to hire. Next is the prioritizing the right requirements. Every job opening has a unique set of needs. Should the new hire be an experienced working professional who brings years of industry knowledge to the team? Or should the hire be highly skilled and straight out of school, ready for their first technical job? Not having clear answers to these questions drags down the hiring process, leading to inefficient applicant selection. Can artificial intelligence really help? So early last year, Ceipal teamed up with TechSub Alliance and created the IT and Engineering Staffing Index. So that included 160 companies and 19,000 job placements. So basically, the way it worked is companies were working with TechSub Alliance and giving them real detailed data about the key performance indicators, consultant billing, new job orders, starts, stops, and so on, and got in detail the financial data. And on top of that, we also included questions that measure the importance and adoption by these companies of 8 key technologies. What we got then was anonymized survey. So we didn't know which company did what, but we could directly correlate the performance and KPIs with the choices of recruitment technology and investments they make. And what was really interesting is we found that there was direct correlation between the technology investment they make and performance at that time. We were somewhat fortunate that when we started tracking this index, it was right before the COVID pandemic. And then we were able to see month on month to reflect how the industry basically got affected when the pandemic hit. And we were able to watch the rebound. So it was perfect correlation. If you see the blue curve of how the industry is performed. But what's surprising is if you look at just the companies that invested in artificial intelligence and in certain recruitment technologies, they significantly outperform the average. And that is what you see. The tech pioneers are the orange one. They did way better. So the early adopters of AI did better. That was one of the first surveys that provided a direct correlation and specifics of how that helped. And so the question now is, what did they do? How did it happen? And there are multiple things. My focus here right now is to shed some light on what those companies did during the talent acquisition and talent curation, How did they source the candidates from the internal database? We actually have two presentations on AI. My part is to talk to you about the matching, ranking, and cloning top talent. There's another presentation that talks about how AI helped companies with identifying talent. But right now, I'm going to focus exclusively on the AI and what those companies did to match and clone talent. AI-powered candidate matching and ranking actually enables recruiters to source and screen thousands of resumes in seconds. So for every job opening in your ATS, AI sources candidates from the applicant pool and your talent network, giving each candidate a suitability score. The AI delivers a curated shortlist of applicants based on your top priorities. Every candidate's resume is automatically parsed for skill sets, job titles, industry experience, employment history, and more, helping recruiters zero in on their next new hire. So leveraging your database, ranking and matching. So AI provides objective evaluations of every applicant by ranking applicants according to the criteria, like job title or skill set. So the AI makes sure that the best candidates gets maximum exposure. Customizing priorities within the system means recruiters can respond to last minute requests from hiring managers or clients on demand without repeating the entire applicant screening process. For every candidate shortlist, recruiters can filter results based on previous experience, skill set, work experience, location, and more. How do recruiters benefit out of this capability? So the process is so efficient that it cuts down on the time taken to source candidates, and the recruiters can spend time more meaningfully. So the entire recruitment cycle now runs on fast forward mode. The process is more effective than manual search and screening because it is avoiding all the possible pitfalls. Only the best of the best is provided, allowing the recruiters to maximize the time usage and overall candidate quality. With numerous number of filters available, recruiters are empowered to make the best combinations suitable for them and the clients. So the recruiters are also freed from their nerve-ending screen time on the job boards. This in turn helps them put more channeled efforts into connecting and building relations with the candidates. Recruiters are also given an option to view in detail on why and how the matching score and ranks were given. This detailed analysis includes skills, job titles, education, industries covered, and more. It also shows the employment history and any available certifications or licenses within the same window. This gives the recruiters a single view of a holistic picture of the candidate, avoiding the back and forth between multiple windows. Interestingly enough, when we deployed this, companies are benefiting with this, but recruiters are still resisting. How do we make it even more compelling? So that's what AI-driven auto sourcing does. What do you think is the next frontier? Letting AI to even take the next steps? So till now, I've talked to you about how automatically search internal database, how with the help of AI, you can automatically match and rank internal candidates and automatically reach out to top candidates. So what is next? Conversational AI chatbots. So these conversational AI chatbots will actually respond to the initial candidate questions, and also it sends automatic notifications to recruiters. Do you think now the recruiters will pay attention? Because now they have the interested candidates. They probably will. Here's an example of how conversational AI chatbot could work. Now, let me give you an example of how you'd calculate the ROI. Let's say this is a typical customer profile of a staffing firm with 300 recruiters. In your case, things may vary, definitely. This is just to give you an idea. So this is a scenario of a customer with a staffing company with 300 recruiters and generates $50 to $100 million in revenue per year. So scenario assumptions are you have 2,000 jobs per month, you have 20 candidates per job. So on average, a recruiter spend 2 hours of his or her time per job. Multiply that by 2,000 jobs a month, and the total time savings is 4,000 hours per month. So you can add your own numbers based on the number of recruiters and number of candidates you have per job, and then you can come into an inference based on that. Now, let me now give you a demo and show in action how it works. If you can see my screen here. So usually recruiters end up spending more time than needed on sourcing and screening candidates. Due to this, they lose the competitive edge of getting the best available candidates. Using artificial intelligence, Ceipal can instantly identify the most relevant candidates for any given position. I'm sure your recruiters spend a lot of time looking for candidates and shortlisting them to see who they should call first. Let me show you how it is done with Ceipal's AI feature. Generally, what happens is once you get a requirement from your client, you create the job and you assign it to your recruiters to shortlist the candidates. Let me go to the job posting module. So this is where you will have your job, which you have created. Okay. So generally recruiters go to their internal database. Let me choose one of the job here. Yeah. So generally recruiters, once they have the job that they have to work on Java developer, they go through their internal database, their resumes, and then they shortlist the candidates. All this will consume a lot of their time, and they end up submitting candidates post the deadline. With Ceipal's AI matching profile feature, the recruiters can depend on the job description. You can go ahead and start searching for the candidates through AI matching profiles. And the system takes less than 60 seconds to quickly go through the entire internal database and job boards, then matches the candidate against the job description and gives them the best candidates available. As you can see here, once I have run a search, I have got all the best 100 candidates I have. Right? And this on the left-hand side, if you see, there are different search criterias. You can search candidates based on the work authorization, on the applicant status, source, and the time you have created the profile. If you can see here, let me view a resume. With a single click, I could have a view of resume of this particular applicant, all the details if you can see here. On the left hand side, if you see, I have various skills and job titles mentioned. So these are the skills which was found in the resume as well as in the job. If you believe that this is not the right candidate, you still want to narrow down the search, you can absolutely do that with the help of this filter these results tab, which I have on the right top corner. While clicking on this, you can see the Boolean search you have. You can enter your keywords here, job title. If you're looking for an applicant based on location, on miles or kilometer, city, state, country, experience, skills, employers, etc. Suppose you say that you have just run a different result and then you have different applicants here. So this is that different applicant you've got once you run that result. Let me go back to this again. So once you realize that this is the candidate you're looking for. So if you can see the icons here on the top right corner, these are very important here. So this icon tells you that you can actually write a note on this particular applicant. You can download the resume. And one important thing here is similar profiles. Most of the times what happens is whenever you submit an applicant to your client, they might come back to you and ask, hey, you know what, can you get me similar profiles like this particular applicant? What do recruiters do in this scenario? They might find candidates for the similar profile, but how do they choose out of 100 resumes which one is the best, and how do you find similar candidates out of that? It consumes a lot of time. But with our AI feature, with a single click of a button, you can actually find the best match for Brunod. So the system will take Brunod as a benchmark and find the closest profile similar to that. And it's ranking Brunod as 100. It's given a score of 100. Okay. Once you have that, there are different, actions to take. Once you have that, you can send an email to Brunod. If I click on send email, you can see here, you can customize email. Sometimes you might want to ask details from Brunod or this particular applicant, maybe his updated resume or a phone number or any other details. That is a send email option. We have another option where you can share job. By single click, you can actually, the entire job would get emailed to this particular applicant. So the recruiters don't have to enter anything manually. So this will save a lot of the time. Coming back to this, you can also quick submit to the job for the next steps as well. Okay. And you can as well tag this applicant to the job. So these are the action buttons you have here, which you can use it. Now that you have all the best profiles, now you realize that these are the best profiles I would want to go ahead with. What you can do is, if you can see the bulk actions tab, you don't have to individually send any emails to anybody. Like if you want, you can just choose, particular person and then submit to the job or send email. But what if you want to send an email or perform any action to all these shortlisted candidates? We have a solution for that as well. You can just select all of them, go to bulk actions tab. You can send email to all of them at a single go. You can submit them to the job. You can add them to the group. You can tag them to the job, share profiles, and export it. That's how simple is it. As you're very well aware that there is a lot of competition in the staffing industry. It is not only important to submit the best candidates, it is equally important to submit them quickly. And that is where Ceipal's AI matching feature fits in perfectly. It saves time in identifying potential candidates. It helps you submit candidates in quick time. It also saves money in terms of cost per placement, and it increases quality submissions and placements as well. So that's how I end my presentation today. Thank you so much for everyone for joining in and giving me this opportunity.